What is going on, guys? This is your host, Lawrence Oliva. Welcome back to another feature match for the US OCTGN Open. This is our round 6 feature between Alejandro Ziegenhirt and Steven Arboleda. Alejandro is going to be playing his Fire Earth Final Fantasy VII deck that he took to the Fire Crystal Cup. I had the pleasure of playing against it. I am a big fan. Definitely like some of the things he's got going on in there. And also, Steven's going to be playing Mono Water, which looks very close akin to the deck that Colin won the tournament with. These two guys, definitely some great players, so I'm personally very excited for this match. Once again, I want to give a big shout out and thanks to our 5 sponsors on the left side of your screen. And without further ado, let's get this match underway. So Steven won the dice roll. He's going to be going first. He discards a Cloud of Darkness for a Scholar. And Alejandro pitches Titan for Jesse and Brynhildr for Yatsuyo. That turn 1 Jesse seems pretty good in his deck. I know he's got Cloud and Barret in there, so that's going to help him get some more value. Steven plays down Minwu and passes. And we see Alejandro pitching for the Zangan to pull out the new Opus 8 starter Tifa. And pitches 2 for Marlene to pull back the Tifa he pitched. So Alejandro putting down some backups very, very quickly. Trying to get the backups ramp to put pressure out on Steven. Steven doles to him pitches for Meryl Webb. Ends up discarding Lena off the Meryl Webb effect, and then pitches for Yuna. So both players at 4 backups right now. They are set up and good to go. So we're going to get a real good match out of this. And we see Alejandro just paying 2 for the Cloud just to get a body out there. And pitching and dulling for the new Tifa, who gets haste off of Zangan and has Brave naturally. So Alejandro striking first for that first point of damage. And here comes the infamous Layla Viking. Let's see what else Steven wants to do here. And he plays the Artemisian. Wow, so he's at 5 backups. He is in a great position. Has the Scholar down already and the Yuna. Minwu is definitely going to be relevant in this match. And Steven choosing to put 1 card to the bottom to draw off the Artemisian effect. Alejandro swinging in with Tifa for a point. And now Cloud attacking as well. So Alejandro just not caring what's going on Steven's side of the board. Just going to keep applying pressure, attacking. And just paying the 5 to play Cecil for the body. Presumably trying to protect that Tifa as much as possible from any kind of Famfrit antics. Let's see how Steven's going to respond to that board state. He's got 6 cards in hand. Plays down the Nicole, probably, in my opinion at least, one of the best top 3 printed cards from this set. And down comes the Cagnazzo. So Nicole Cagnazzo, this early in the game, seems pretty good. Nicole hitting Tifa and Cecil for 5k, and with 8 water characters on the board, reducing the Cecil and the Tifa for 4k each. Layla goes in for a point of damage. and Steven with some profanity because Alejandro has a massive EX burst count in this deck. So EXing the useless Zangan now that he has one on board for a Tifa seems very, very good. Of course he's going to play the Tifa, why wouldn't he? And because I guess Cloud is on the board, yeah. She only costs 2, so that's just more value. What's interesting here is that Steven did not block the Tifa with Cagnazzo. I think that was a mistake on his part because Cagnazzo takes minus 4k damage, so he wouldn't have broken. Seems okay though. Steven playing the new Opus 8 Leviathan onto the Tifa with 8 characters on board. Exactly the right amount he needs to get rid of it. And now Steven able to apply some tremendous pressure here on Alejandro's damage count. Alejandro EX bursting again the Barret. I'm double checking. Yeah, Alejandro should be revealing. We'll get that fixed in a second. So the bottom 3 were okay. So the reveal was Woll Yojimbo, Black Waltz. Then Nicole going in for a point of damage. And Steven opting to play a liking for another draw. Perhaps setting up a Cag or Nicole future turn. Leaving the Scholar up. Seems pretty good. And Steven just really setting his board up. See how Alejandro can answer. That Cag is definitely going to prove a problem. Unless you have a Shantoto. Wow, so that just resets the board state, giving Alejandro a slight advantage due to some haste in his deck. But Steven having 6 cards in hand, and here comes the Lenonite combo. It's been a staple since Opus 3 in most water decks, and it is still proving to be very good. No walk it down, but the Knight is still 8k. Let us see how Alejandro's going to respond. So he's paying 4 to play the new Opus 8 Cloud. Cloud is doing 3k plus 3k, so 6k total. Maybe Alejandro's trying to bait Colin to using the Scholar. I'm sorry, Steven. I know Steven is, he knows he's got the Minwo, so that's kind of odd that he just played the Cloud right off. The Tifa seems like it would have been fine there, but of course we don't know what tricks Alejandro has up his sleeve. The Tifa S is live. He's probably running Belias, I would assume. Let's see what Steven can do to answer him. And down comes another Layla Viking. Wow, so a Cag Nicole is looking very, very scary right now. Or a double either with the Scholar. I'm a huge fan of Nicole, especially right now in this board state. Because Steven has enough cards to play the Nicole and bounce it and play it again, which would clear way opting just to swing in with the knight for 8k. Alejandro taking the damage, not going to lose either of his forwards to a Chuchulain or a new Leviathan. Oh, wow. So Lena swings in for a point of damage, and the light cloud comes over on the EX, having 2 7 forwards, getting rid of the Lena for 7k. Seems pretty good. Alejandro paying 4 for wall. And before the attack step, oh boy, Leviathan hitting wall for 9k. If only Alejandro had a way to get rid of Layla and Viking, he would still save the wall. And get his effect off, but it does not look like it this time. He does have 3 cards in hand. Leviathan reducing power by 1k for every character, water character you control, so minus 9k onto the wall. That definitely hurts. Thankfully he was able to pay it at least off backups, but definitely don't want to see a wall into the break zone. Alejandro choosing to still go into the attack phase and swing through with Tifa. Steven blocking with the Viking to get another card to draw, which is always good. Both players floating around 20 cards in their deck, so they definitely need to watch what they're doing over the next series of 3 to 4 turns. Unless, of course, Steven can just apply pressure and get rid of that cloud. He could technically swing through for games, so going to be interesting to see if he has some answers in his hand. Because without Waka down, I don't think he has anything that can contest with that cloud at 9k. And he ends up discarding a Waka. Wow, okay, so he pays 6. Veritas is a good answer. And it looks like Steven paid for that improperly. Let's rewind it for a second. So he's going to keep the Lena in hand and dull 2 backups, as well as pitching. So he ends up discarding the Waka, the Cagnazzo, and dulling 2 for the Veritas. Alejandro's going to select, I would assume, Tifa, which is unfortunate. That S can definitely win you some games. In comes Ash for 7k. Alejandro opting to defend with the Cloud. And down comes Titus to buff Ash 2k. And there's the Belias. I figured he had that. So Belias pumping Cloud up to 10k, first strike. Gets the card draw. And gets rid of a very difficult forward for Alejandro's deck to deal with in Ash. Alejandro's got to feel pretty good about that play. Not only that, but also forcing the Titus from hand and locking down any kind of plays that Steven can do during Alejandro's turn. We see the March come down. And Alejandro opting to take Lease and then play Lease. Lease is a very interesting card. Especially that Alejandro's at 5 points of damage. Everything gets plus 2k. So Alejandro's board state, pretty nice right about now. making a recovery and comeback. Steven opting to party attack in with Layla Knight. That will trade with Cloud unless Steven has an answer, and he opts to just bounce the Knight. It's an interesting play. Although if Alejandro used Cloud's ability to come back in, he would end up breaking either Titus or Veritas, and that would be very close to game. Steven playing out the Lena Knight, and he's going to hand dump and play Waka. So just using the Scholar to make room for the Waka, which is pretty relevant right now. And we see Barrett come down. He's an 11K. There's a little issue on the Alejandro's board with his power levels, but Cloud and March are both plus 2K off of Lease currently. So 9, 7, 11, 11. Having two 11Ks on board is pretty good. Oh, and there's the Nicole. So minus 5K on the Barrett and Cloud. They drop down to 6K each. And Knight is going to swing in. Alejandro blocking with Cloud, but it does not look like he's going to pay for the effect. He's only got 15 cards left in his deck, and he may have one more still. I think we've only seen two. Lena and Titus going in for a party attack, trying to get rid of that Lease, which would be detrimental to Alejandro's board if he opted to trade with the Lease. I think he either blocks with the Marsh or just takes the point of damage. Steven not able to play anything else right now with only one card in hand. And the Brynhilde turns over and there's nothing. 7K. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Man, that would have been such a good card to target with Nicole or even Veritas. So Alejandro's board state right now is 9, 7, and 11. Everything getting plus 2K off the Lease. And just like that, Steven is in a very good position to win the game, even on next turn. And he did have another Cloud. So paying 4 for that Cloud just seems insane. It's going to come in and deal something 9K damage. Alejandro's thinking about what exactly he wants to get rid of. Steven is backup locked, so no more Scholar antics on the Nicole. And I think the deck only runs 2. He ends up choosing Nicole anyway. Seems like a fine thing. And Alejandro is actually ahead on deck. Size remaining. No, he's behind one. I'm sorry. Oh, and down comes Cloud of Darkness onto the Lease for minus 10K. And that may very well be it. March at 5K. Barrett and Cloud at 9K. And we see the party attack on Titus and Lena. Alejandro having some difficulties with his power levels, but no worries. Cloud blocks. Dealing the 9K to Titus. Or I'm sorry, 8K to Titus, 1K to Lena, which doesn't stick because of Minwell. And Steven passes. No attack in with Knight. Okay. I mean, if it was me, I'd get rid of that Barrett or March all day with the knight. But that seems fine, and down comes Cecil onto the Lena. And just like that, Alejandro's making a run for board state and is in such good position. Unfortunately, the cloud cannot deal 7k to something and break it. Everything is 8 or 9k on Steven's side. Steven opting to attack him with the Cloud of Darkness. Minus 3k to the Barrett. Barrett dropping down to 6k, being at 9k currently. And already getting value off the Cecil. Blocking with Cecil into Cloud seems like a very good decision. It's a very problematic forward for Alejandro's deck. So that is a very good trade on his part. What else will Steven do? Opts to just play another knight. So having two 9k bodies on the field and a Veritas. Alejandro's board state at 5, 9, and 7k. And Alejandro just draw pass. Seems absolutely fine to just play defense now that the deck sizes are pretty small. And why did he party attack with two 9Ks? Unless I'm missing something, Barrett is 9K. The Belias comes in, making Barrett 10K. And since it's first strike, it's going to kill a knight. And Barrett will not take lethal from the other knight. Veritas coming in, and Barrett just blocking. It had first strike. I guess maybe Steven's got another Veritas he wants to play. Yeah, Alejandro still has to select something off the Veritas, any character. He's going to have a check. At this point in the game, probably his backup line is fine. He wants to keep those forwards on board. Steven's going to have to do something here. And he plays a sin. That is definitely a something. Oh boy. So he plays, he takes the point of damage, and he EXs a Porum, which actually I don't think he should have taken. He took the card. That puts him down to a deck size of 5. Whoa. And Alejandro playing Titan into the Sin to kill it. Wow. And just like that, as long as Alejandro can play down some forwards, he can probably stall him out. That's a pretty good forward, and that is a swing in. With Mono Water not having any haste in the deck, Alejandro has very little to worry about. And Famfrit goes off to slow down Alejandro. He's got 3 cards. A Lena Knight would be fantastic right now. Just has 1 Knight and an Ash. And just like that, Alejandro has to answer that board state. Otherwise, he will actually lose next turn. With Steven drawing his last 2 cards. And he opts to just pay 4 for a wall and pass. And, ooh, down comes a Famfrit. And, oh, whoa, Yojimbo. Wow. That is brutal. Why did he cast the other Famfrit? What? Steven had the game. Why did he? Oh man, and that was it. Just like that, Alejandro stole the victory. Oh man. Let's go back for a second, guys. We're gonna go back and reevaluate that board state for a second, because that something just did not seem right there. Let's rewind this for a second. So, wow. Okay, so why did he play the Famfrit though? That seems crazy. All right, so Alejandro's got 2 backups up, 2 cards in hand, and he's only an 8K body. So if he swings with the knight, was he afraid of first strike? Not really, because if he had double Famfrit, but if you have Famfrit in hand, you force the first strike out. You Famfrit on top. He doesn't get the draw. With only 1 card in hand and no backups, that's fine. If he has the Yojimbo or the Titan, he can't choose Ash because she'll get the power boost. And he'll lose. So if he would have just swung in with Knight, blocked with Woe, still couldn't Titan or Yojimbo the Ash. So even if he had a trick like the Belias, he could have just Famfritted on top after the trick comes out. And if no trick comes out, then he just swings Knight, block, swing Ash, game. Wow, so some really intense lines there at the end of the match. And just like that, Alejandro wins and moves on. I believe he's X1. I think so. We got one more round for you guys. Dropping it this morning. And I think everyone has until Friday evening to get that round 7 game in. Then we'll top cut to 8. And from then on, we will actually be doing the feature match for the top 8, top 4, and the final live. So definitely look for that. I'm going to do my best in calling everything. Wow, I still can't get over that match. What a match. Great job by both players. Thanks for watching, and look for that next feature match by Friday night. Take care, guys.